Hey guys, so I just wanted to record a video on Ricky Gervais. I watched Shan's live video and thought it was impressive. Um, her new program is impressive um, for recording and leaving comments. So, to talk about Ricky, I wanted to go over the coins that I thought he has. Um, I think most of what Shan revealed in the sneak peek makes sense. But there is one coin that I think we should take a second look at. Now she didn't really reveal the coins, but she gave hints, and so I'll be sort of responding to some of those implicit suggestions. Um, here is Ricky Gervais and Richard Dawkins in conversation. It looks like Ricky is getting an award from Richard Dawkins for reason and science. So, yeah, yeah. So let's see.
Um, okay, so we'll move on a bit. Away from mammoths and crocodiles. So atheism.
Yeah.
I can remember. I don't know whether this has any resonance for you at all. But I can remember listening to you on the radio, and I can't place this. I know it's a long time ago, and I would think it's after the initial success of The Office. I think, and I think it's Steve Wright, but I might be wrong. And he said something like, "Oh, you must wake up in the morning and say, 'Thank God for my amazing things that are happening.'" And you said, "Why would I say thank God? I'm an atheist."
Right.
And it was the first time I'd heard the word atheist on kind of public radio.
Well, I mean, yeah, there shouldn't even be the word, should there? If people didn't invent gods, I wouldn't have to deny them. And it's just, but it's like, I was told when I sort of started breaking America to not mention I was an atheist.
Really?
Oh, first thing I did on every. First thing I did. Why? What am I going to lose? Imagine not doing something because people hate you because of what you are. That's that's my only thing I've got. I'm a white, rich, middle-class man, but I'm hated for being an atheist. Do you know what I mean?
And have you?
I'm oppressed. I'm oppressed in 13 countries I'd never go to anyway.
Have you seen a change in your over the last, I don't know, that's 20 years or so, about how atheism is perceived?
Well, I mean, you sort of do it. There's part of me that does it because I think I should. That there is someone being persecuted now that might, I can't change the world. But what I mean, maybe someone in a Western world that thinks they shouldn't come out because it's a bad thing. Because it's still a bad thing in Western society. In America, they took a vote. America, right? Probably that big bit in the middle of America. But we were voted least trustworthy group, joint bottom with rapists. So there's still a thing about, I better not say I'm an atheist, it'll annoy my mum or dad or granddad or school. There's still that. So you do that. Some of it I do it as an intellectual pursuit because someone asked me a question. I'd rather give the right answer than the wrong answer. I'd rather tell the truth than lie because it's easier, I think the big thing, people think I run into churches and go, "It's all fucking bollocks." I don't care, I don't. But if I'm asked if I believe in God, I'll say no. I mean, the tricky one is I did a film called The Invention of Lying where I did a scene where 7 people saw that film, where my mother in that is dying, and it's because I'm the only person in the society who can lie. She says, I don't want to go to nothingness. And I go, "There's not nothingness. It's a beautiful place you go and you're young again." And I invent heaven, right? And that comes from the fact that when my mum was dying, I did face a dilemma. If she'd have said, "Do you think there's a God?" That's a personal thing, and that's I just try and be honest, really. And the other is, if someone else's kid, 5-year-old, asks me, do I believe in God? I sort of think, what should I say here? And I say, well, I don't, but a lot of people do. What do you think? I try and there's still a level of diploma. It's not always my place. You know what I mean? I do, but my house, my rules. If someone asks me something on Twitter, I tell them the truth because.
And Richard, in the last sort of 20, 30 years, have you seen a change in how atheism is perceived?
I'm not a sociologist. I haven't done the research. I'm not a psychologist, so I'm not sure. It would only be a subjective impression. The statistics suggest that we're growing in numbers. Obviously in Western Europe, but also even in America. I think the number of people who claim no religion in the United States is now more than 20%, which is large compared to any particular religious denomination. So I think that the statistics show that the trend is in the right direction. But as Ricky says, other polls show that we're down there with rapists in terms of public.
I think they have to lump us in with, agnostics, which I keep trying to explain that on Twitter, that they're not mutually exclusive. One deals with knowledge, one deals with belief, and so people say on Twitter to me, it's illogical to be an atheist, you should be agnostic. And I say, well, I am as well.
Don't agnostics get on your nerves a bit?
Well, no, because we're all agnostic, aren't we? We're all agnostic by definition. If we accept that no one knows knowledge, I'm being very diplomatic here, but if we accept that no one knows that there's a God or not, right? We might be wrong. We're 99% sure, but let's say we don't know.
So, from what we just saw, I think Ricky is probably FETI. What we saw was a lot of discussion about truth, about people that don't like me. But most importantly, we heard a lot about atheism and the fact that he keeps saying, I'm an atheist. So I suppose that's an identity. The reason I associate that with FETI is because he's siding with the truth against the feelings of the tribe. One of the beautiful things about FITE is that it doesn't complain about the game. It just chooses to play. It doesn't complain about the rules of the game. It would rather play and win the game. One thing I see with FETI and SINE is that they'll often have to don a referee attitude. So that's the Alpha Quadra will kind of play a referee or an adjudicator or a lawgiver, because they're saying after they've observed something that is bad, they say, okay, this is actually a bad game. To be honest, I don't see it very often with the Gamma Quadra. The Gamma Quadra, it's almost like the Gamma Quadra wants to see if it can play and win any game. And I think what we're seeing with Ricky Gervais is he's playing that referee role with the deciders, perhaps as well as the observers. So let's watch something else just for fun. But I'll just react to it.
Now, I know you don't like fancy food. Enjoy the shepherd's pie.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yes.
I mean, shepherd's pie would be in, I think, my top 5
Really?
meals. So,
Nice.
and that was lovely.
The mince for the shepherd's pie was from the lambs that I had in my back garden.
So, hold on. So, they were basically your pets.
They weren't pets. You can't fall into that habit of allowing them to become pets, although they are very friendly to begin with, but then you've got to sort of distance yourself from them.
Yeah, but you say that. Well, where's it going to end? You and Jeremy Clarkson in a helicopter shooting your cousins. What? You go, I kept distance from them. I didn't really know them growing up. And they're so tasty. You're so macho, aren't you?
I know, it's a
You're
chef
so
handshake.
tough. I'm glad you got your shirt on. You always have to show a bit of that, don't you?
No.
It's for the menopausal women. And
No.
go, oh, look, he's taking his shirt. You walked to the restaurant the other week carrying a stag. Who do you think you are? 4?
Hold on. No, but you enjoyed it, didn't you?
I did enjoy it. Obviously, I'd rather know that that animal had a wonderful life and was
Absolutely.
killed humanely.
Gavin escaped the
Okay,
slaughterhouse.
you've given it a name.
Yeah, I know.
Why would you do that?
What was...
See, when you buy it in Tesco's, there's not a name. They don't care. This is Bob. We killed Bob.
Gavin didn't die. Charlotte unfortunately got eaten.
What, by a wolf?
Suspected puma, a wild cat, or a humongous fox.
Where do you live with these pumas and humongous foxes?
No, it was at Beckenham Palace.
Narnia.
Back garden.
What?
No, but this is serious. Who does the cooking at home?
I did.
Not.
I don't know. No.
Ever?
No. Let me tell you why, Gordon.
Please.
I'm a genius. And I've got to save all those skills for other things. Okay?
I thought Stephen Merchant was a genius.
That can't.
No, you're not just bloody brilliant at making people laugh. You're also bloody fantastic at making money. The DVDs, the podcasts, Fanimals. Have you ever been tempted or swayed by doing an advert?
No, I'm not tempted, no. I got offered £1 million to do a gin advert in America when the office broke in America. And my agent said, I know you don't do adverts, but I just run this by you. And I went, no, I can't. Because I just thought, if I said yes, I'd regret. So I said no. And he said, they've come back with £2 million. They thought I was haggling.
Oh, my God. I think it's because you haven't had the right product, okay? So I've got some items that I want you to have a look at and tell me how you would market them in an advert, okay? First thing,
Go on.
Plock. Chocolate bar. It's a delicacy in Sweden. How...
Aren't foreigners funny?
So how would you advertise it? How would you sit there and munch?
If it's a Swedish advert, it would be a really weird one, wouldn't it? It would be something like, you've had a plug. Oh, the plug. Flirty bird plug.
Ooh.
It would be something like that, wouldn't it? What's that one that sexy rabbit used to advertise?
Cadbury's Caramel, no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Something like that.
Ready?
Sexy rabbit. Can we cut that? I've never had sex with any rodent. Actually, it's a lagomorph. It's not a rodent.
Okay.
So this here is I would argue that that's an instance of SINE. He goes, that's a lagomorph. It's not a rabbit or something like that. So generally, what I see is that the classification of like species and things like that is much more SI into these Latin kind of names. Much more SINE. So what I kind of seem to be doing over time is I'm beginning to see the function axes almost as like one function. So saying that's a lagomorph, not a rabbit, I don't even know what he said. That's something I believe that you'll see from any, and you'll see it from SI, but you are less likely to see it from NI, and you're less likely to see it from SE. In fact, I think that if an NISE user heard that they might be slightly annoyed or dismissive. And then also with that scene where he imitated a Swedish commercial, it can't be understated how quickly he came up with that. And it actually kind of felt like accurate. If you've ever seen any of those strange European commercials from the last decade, it's like, yeah, that was accurate. So I agree that Gervais is NF. I agree that he's OE. I agree that he's a decider. But if I'm being honest, I see all the telltale signs of FETI and not FITE. So I would be more inclined to elect him here. Let's see what was bolded. Select him here. Than here. I would be more inclined to choose the ESFJ. So, yep, that's basically all I wanted to say about Ricky, and I hope you enjoyed watching, and let me know what you think, and kind of whether or not you agree, especially with my theory about the axes almost starting to look like one function, or starting to think about the function axes as one function. So thanks so much. Have a nice day.